Are your arms bending early in the Olympic lifts, whether snatch, clean, and you're wondering, is that good, bad, yes, no, maybe? In this video, we are going to explain that, show you how to fix it if it's not a good thing, so you're hitting better lifts. Hey, it's Drew Dillon at Project Lift, and in this video, we're looking at the early arm bend in the Olympic lifts. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we're just going to look, is this good or is this bad? And then we're going to get into, what's going on, what's it causing, why is it happening, and how the hell to fix it. So if you're watching this video, I imagine you want to get better at the Olympic lifts, and I encourage you, check out our free guide, How to Improve Your Olympic Lifts. Now you'll get some tips you can immediately apply to your next training session. And once this video helps you, make sure you send it forward, share it with a friend, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe because new videos are coming each week. All right, so is the early arm bend good or bad? And really it comes down to one thing. Are you intentionally doing it? And if you are intentionally doing it, I'm imagining you know why, and you've been instructed or have learned the benefits of how an early arm bend could help you. Now, in certain weightlifting techniques, an early arm bend, especially if you have really long arms, can help you get the bar a bit closer to the hip, which we have more leverage there, so we'll be able to get more power. But here's the thing, most athletes don't need to use it. So when you're using it intentionally, the early arm bend can be very good for you. But when you're not using it intentionally, when it's more of a reflex, that's typically where it's hurting you. So here's the kicker for both of those, intentional and non-intentional. It's once you pass the knee, your arms are static again. They're holding place. They're not continuing to bend. If your arms are continuing to bend past the knee, or your early arm bend starts after the knee, you're losing power. So there's the good and the bad. So why are you early arm bending if it's unintentional? So if you're not meaning to do this, why in the world's it happening? And really there's three main causes that we see all the time. The first one is you're intentionally trying to place the bar in the hip. So you know that you want the bar to be in the hip. This happens a lot with clean with new athletes. Athletes will go, oh, the snatch, hits high up towards that pubic bone. And then with the clean, because our arms are brought into the clean grip, the bar is going to brush a little lower. It's going to be more high thigh. But when an athlete hears that it should be in the hip, they're now bending their arms trying to place it into the hip. So this is more of a technical mistake where you're thinking about it incorrectly and just someone hasn't caught that and explained it to you yet. The second thing is anticipation. So your nervous system is anticipating that drive and it's wanting to fire early. Anticipation is a lot of fun because I used to do this drill back when I was learning the Olympic lifts that I declared as tricking myself, where I would do a deadlift version of the lift, keeping my arms nice and long and just feeling it. And then when it was time to go, when it was, the next rep, I was going to take it up overhead in the snatch or to the rack position in the clean. In my mind, I would tell myself, I'm just doing the deadlift. I'm just doing the same thing. And there you can play with anticipation a bit. You can see how your nervous system just is anticipating what's to come and it's getting ahead of itself. And the third cause of why this happens is holding the bar incorrectly. When we're doing the Olympic lifts, we want to be holding the bar in our back. You hear a lot of language around the lat. The lat's holding the bar, and very simply, you should feel the weight more here underneath that armpit in that lat as you're coming off the floor versus in your arms. When we're holding it too much in our arms, say you're not using a hook grip, this can really magnify it. Then we get into our arms earlier, easier, because that's where we have all the weight situated, those arm muscles holding the bar versus the arm muscles staying long with a nice hook grip, keeping that weight in the back as we move from the floor. What is the effect of the early arm bend? So I have three effects for you here, and this is again focused on the non-intentional uses. So more of a reaction, you're reacting and your arms are bending versus you're intentionally using this, as I explained in the good and bad. So the first one I have for you is loss of power at the hip. If your arms are moving past that knee, if your arms are continuously bending, we have what I call an energy leak. we get good power into the bar by creating rigidity in certain parts of our body at that point of explosion. And if a part of our body is moving at that point where we want to explode, we're no longer as rigid as we could be in that moment. So we have an energy leak. There's unintentional movement happening, so less power is getting into the bar. The second effect that can happen is swinging the bar away at the hip. So when we bend that elbow, very often when we come off the hip, we can swing it away. This really exaggerates a bit of what you hear me call the T-Rex arms, where we're bringing that bar up, wanting to reverse curl it up versus pulling it up the body. So bending the arms early can definitely cause us to swing away, jump forward a little bit more. And the last effect that bending the arms early can have is mistiming the legs. So again, this really kind of sinks into what I said about less power at the hip, but one of those variations is because your arms are bending, you don't have the same timing with the legs. It gets into that whole rigidity piece that I just mentioned on, but boil it all down, less power, messing with your timing of your legs. If you're unintentionally using an early arm bend or the arms are bending unintentionally, it is not doing your weightlifting favors. All right, and how in the world do we fix the dreaded early arm bend that is happening without intention? We have 2 exercises for you that are fantastic. The first one is a pull. And if you've seen our pull video, which I'll link above here, again, the pull is something that we need to learn in of itself. So if you're just learning weightlifting, this can be kind of a double slap in the face. You're trying to learn a snatch, you're trying to learn a clean, your arms are bending early, that's annoying you. You're watching this video, others are telling you like, yeah, you shouldn't do that, you're trying to fix that. And now I'm telling you one of the exercises is a pull, which is technical in of itself and is something you need to learn. But trust me, as you learn it, as you break it down, as you work the different variations, it will help you. So add the pull in to your repertoire and let yourself learn how to use that. The second exercise I have for you is exactly what I had said earlier that I used to do as a young athlete, and that's called tricking yourself, which is really, if I wrote it down into a programming sense, it's a snatch or clean deadlift depending on the movement that you're doing. So if you're doing the snatch, it's going to be a snatch deadlift, back down to the floor, and then a snatch. And on the snatch, what you're doing is letting yourself feel what you felt in the snatch deadlift. Feel in the snatch deadlift how you're able to stay long and keep your arms long where they are. It slows everything down. You can feel your body easier. And then when you're going through the motion to go overhead with the snatch, let yourself focus on it being the same as the deadlift, except when you get up towards the hip, go. And see if tricking yourself can support you in getting through that anticipation of the arm. So that's it, guys. That's what we have for early arm bend. Let us know how this supports you. So I want to know if this is going on with you. What drills do you try? Do you try the pull? Do you try tricking yourself? Break it down. I want to know below. Please share us your experience so we can support you more. And until next week, guys, good luck.